Academica Media. You are listening to Charter School Superstars, bringing you the voices of an education revolution.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Ryan Kairalla from Doral College. Our guest this week on the program is the HR Specialist for Training and Professional Development at Springs Charter Schools, one of the largest charter school networks in Southern California. Our guest's organization has implemented a new way of doing PD and evaluations that provides better feedback for administrators and has the goal to make teachers feel respected, supported, and appreciated while saving time and promoting a positive school culture. Who doesn't love that? You can find out more about our guest's work by visiting www.springscs.org. We are happy to welcome Monica Strain on a Charter School Superstars. Hello, Monica.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me today.
Excited to have you. I love talking with the folks over at the California charter schools. I think it's just the sunny disposition y'all have, all that nice West Coast weather that you get to enjoy. But you guys have some great charters over there. Excited to hear about them. So first, let's start with that. Can you tell us a little bit about Springs Charter Schools? I understand that you have physical sites, but you also have some virtual learning options. Can you tell me a little bit about this model and what you love about working there?
Definitely, Ryan. So Springs offers a variety of at-home learning options along with hybrid and full-time on-campus programs at 20 different locations across Southern California and sunny California. So our personalized learning model caters to each student based on what works best for their learning style. So the awesome part about that is that parents can choose whatever works best for the student. For some students, that might be full-time at an academy site. For others, full-time homeschool. And maybe others, more of a hybrid combination of some at-home learning and then maybe a couple days at a learning center for arts and crafts.
That's exciting, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of variety, and then parents can choose what works best for their little one. So
I love that kind of model. And really, I think to me, that's just sort of like the completion point of where charter education should be going, because charter education is based on this idea of school choice and empowering parents. And so why shouldn't that also go into not just the choice of schools that parents have, but the choice of delivery models once they get to that school? I love that. I understand that Springs is a real leader when it comes to professional development. And I think if the virtual space has taught us anything, it's that, professional development is modernizing into that world as well. And PD is a big challenge for a lot of schools, right? Managing professional development is hard. And we hear all the time that how a school does their professional development has a big impact on schools' culture. It translates into the classroom. And so I'm curious, based on your experience in training and PD, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've encountered in your work?
I think overall, everybody's biggest challenge in education is having budgets for professional development and staff development. All the time you hear all different positions wanting more PD, wanting to go to different conferences, but sometimes having the budget to send them there can be difficult. So I think just, kind of making it work with what we have and trying to use the tools and the presenters that we have available in our own school and kind of making things fun for them so they can continue to learn no matter what path they're on and no matter what position they're in, and just have that just the opportunity to learn and grow. So overall, yeah.
I love the promise of that. That's so exciting. Now, I understand you have an initiative for your evaluations called Spring Shots. By the way, already like the name. Whoever's in charge of branding over there, you need to give them a high five because that just sounds cool. Tell us about Spring Shots and how it is going to be incorporated to address some of these challenges that you just brought up.
So instead of the traditional annual evaluation, we changed it to focus on 3 short meetings, which we like to call Spring Shots.
Yeah, there it is.
So the intention is for the supervisor and employee to meet early in the school year, midway through the year, and then at the end of the school year to have a brief 20 to 30 minute conversations about progress towards goals, what we call glows and grows, which glows are areas of strength and then grows are areas of opportunity. And then also discuss maybe any areas that the employee needs support in from their supervisor. So with Vector Plus evaluations, we've actually created about 90 forms, different types of forms. That includes not only the Spring Shot forms, but classroom walkthroughs. And we were able to fully customize these Spring Shots so that all of our programs can have an evaluation catered to their position, which is really something we were not able to do before. So Vector really helped us make that a reality, and we're really happy with the outcome, Ryan.
Oh, that sounds really, really cool. I love the idea of shortening the evaluations up, the time period, so that they can be more responsive. I love the two-way approach of the evaluations, right? We're not just evaluating the professional, but we're seeing how the school can better serve and resource the faculty members. I think that's really, really excellent. And just to me, the vibe I'm getting from this, Monica, is your goal seems to be that you're trying to just avoid a situation where the evaluation just becomes another box to check, right? Like that's always
Exactly.
the entropy that's always kind of lurking in the background, that this just becomes something we do, but it doesn't create value. And it sounds like a
Exactly.
lot of these measures get around that. So what are the impacts that we're seeing on the ground with Spring Shots? Has it had an effect on your school culture at the Springs charter schools? Are you getting some feedback from administrators and faculty?
I definitely think so, Ryan. When I first started at Springs, I'm actually going to be hitting my 5-year anniversary next month, and
Yeah.
yay! We had a different evaluation program, and I'm not going to lie, it was a little clunky. It was a little, it wasn't user friendly at all. It didn't allow for the customization we needed. So after when they came around and said, Monica, it's time to find a new evaluation program, and I found Vector Plus, I was so excited to learn about the customization that we could do for our own school. And we received so much positive feedback about just the new system, the overall format, being able to meet with their supervisor 3 times a year. And I think what the staff loved was that they could have more conversations with their supervisor. So they would always know where they stand throughout the year instead of at the end of the year. Because I mean, really, Ryan, who wants to find out things that they could have worked on at the end of the year when it's too late to change anything?
And I would just imagine that kind of PD approach, where it's more frequent throughout the year, you're getting constant interaction with their supervisor, that's got to be particularly important for those early career teachers. I always hear that from early career teachers, like, what's the one thing that you guys need? And they always say more support. I don't know if I'm doing well or if I'm not
Yeah,
doing
most
well.
definitely. And by having these brief sprung shots, I do feel that the communication, it's allowed for better communication between our staff and their supervisors, which I do think has made a really big positive impact on our school culture. So definitely, Ryan, all those things.
Now, I know there's a lot of schools out there, Monica, who are listening to what you're saying and are thinking to themselves, I think our PD processes, our evaluations could use a little tune up. We want to take what Monica's saying here to heart and really make our evaluations better. Do you have any tips that you'd give to the other schools out there that are thinking of changing their evaluation system?
Yeah, I definitely have a few tips. I think obviously the first one is to invest in a good evaluation and PD system for your school that works best for your school. Vector's been a game changer for us. And I think when you have customization like that, it makes it easier to manage on the back end as well. So I definitely think choosing the right evaluation system for your school. I think starting off small, obviously not everything has to be rolled out at once. So in the beginning, we kind of did a slow rollout, and we've created more and more forms as we've gone along. So I'm actually currently working on some changes for the next school year because we had some new programs and they need evaluations now. So I definitely think starting small, doing your research and collaborating. I actually got to go to the school sites, and I did a few classroom observations with our site principals, which I loved. And I really wanted to know what their needs were, get to the meat of it. And at that time, they were using Google Forms for their classroom observations, and they were just kind of making notes to each other and sharing those notes. Seeing the principal busy running around and taking care of everything and everyone, I wanted to make sure that we offered them something that would help cut time for them and that they could access like a one-stop shop all in one place. So I definitely think researching and collaboration, and then celebrating the small victories. I think it's important to seek feedback from your staff and your supervisors. In the beginning, when we rolled everything out, we did a slow rollout, but we also sent some surveys about the spring shot process and the forms and asked staff what they thought about them. From that point on, we did make some tweaks after that, and we really just thanked our staff and the supervisors for making that rollout successful. And then last, I'd like to say that I really think it's important to provide resources and guides for your staff to walk them through it. I mean, with anything new, right, you want to have access and know how to do something. So I made process maps and guides for the staff with screenshots, basically kind of showing them and outlining step by step how to get through their spring shot. And then for our new staff and our new supervisors, I created training courses in our PD portal with screencasts, and so they would know what is a spring shot, what's this all about, and how do I get through it. So now our staff are very familiar with spring shots. They know what time of year to expect an email from me guiding them with spring shot information and deadlines. And of course, they're ready. So
that's terrific. And that's so critical for a large network like yours to be able to have those procedures laid out so that you can scale this, right? To make this expand beyond just a single campus. Folks, I encourage you to check out all the great stuff going on at Springs Charter Schools at www.springscs.org. That's springscs.org. Monica Strain joining us. Monica, before we let you go, one last question that I'm particularly interested in hearing your thoughts from, because I always like to get this perspective from the folks working in training and PD. If with the snap of your fingers, you could make one change to the education system, what change would it be?
I mean, I think that's an easy one, Ryan. I would say more funding for education for all schools. So I think, traditional and charter schools. I think it's so important to have parent choice for each student to thrive in their learning environment. So if that's at the traditional school, great. But also, if it's not working at the traditional school, that they have that option to have personalized learning. So I've seen through this pandemic, our waiting list really grow. And I would love to see more funding to allow for more kiddos to enroll.
No argument here. That sounds fantastic. Monica, this has been a real treat. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan. This was fun.
And thank you all for checking out Charter School Superstars.
The views expressed on the preceding program have been those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Academica, its clients, staff, affiliates, or advertisers.